Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper back with another top 5 listing for One Punch Man. Today we're going to be discussing a huge topic, a big one. Now, I've been speculating on this for quite a while. I actually want to talk about this in the next One Punch Man podcast, so stay tuned for that. And we're also going to be dropping the poll results at the end of this video for the next Monstrous Anomaly video. We actually had a tie, so we're going to be dropping a double header just to show you guys that we're really into it. And but let's get this video popping though. So, the top 5 fights in One Punch Man so far. For the number 5 spot, it's going to be a little bit controversial. Some people may say it's amazing. Some people may say it probably should be the number 1 fight. But there's so many different factors that I had to calculate that I probably can't even describe all of them in this video. So let's just get it popping. Number 5 spot is Saitama versus Boros. Now, people are going to start complaining and yelling, oh, this is the pinnacle fight of season 1. Or the beginning of the manga was culminated with this fight. It was everything. The only god level threat. Amazing, badass. I agree with everything you just said, man. If you were saying that shit, I agree with that shit 100%. Boros is a spectacular individual. I want to focus on the manga in particular, but I will be addressing anime feats and anime presentation as well. The art was so good. Bro, I think till this day, top 10 panels have to be the black or the darkened picture that we got of Saitama on top of the Hero Association building, looking up at the Dark Matter Thieves ship. It was drawn so spectacularly. It looked amazing. The destruction of the city when they arrived, it was crazy. And then to get into the actual combat, seeing the whole like Saitama moving around and blasting around, because you know how we get that occasional presentation where we get Saitama drawn as like in his silly form, where it's simple, kind of like a homemate's being paid to one's original drawing. We see that all the time whenever Saitama's joking or he's not taking the situation seriously. We got that same face, but with the full cock diesel drawing of Saitama's actual physical body, like with Murata's artwork, and him just trolling Boros throughout the entire fight. You know, it was definitely him going ham, Boros going all there he had, and then Saitama even matching that, but it wasn't anywhere near him trying. And it was so badass to see that aspect. You know, when we get a true pinnacle where it's not going to be Saitama just one-punching, one-shotting, taking him out, him having to actually deal with what the person's doing to him, and he still trolled him the entire time. That was one of the best parts of the fight. The fact that, like, I didn't question for 1 second, not for 1 second, that Saitama was going to beat that ass. Then, Boros had so much power. Regeneration, high energy beam attacks, extreme trauma attacks, and then he did it. He kicked Saitama to the moon. Now, I like to read a lot of different manga. I've watched a lot of different anime. But I'm not going to say I'm a connoisseur, and I'm not going to say I've seen every genre to its full extent. But I don't think I've seen an equivalent display of somebody being kicked to the moon. It was so exaggerative. In the anime, they did such an amazing job showing it, where like you see the destructive force that Boros put into that kick, the fucking ship fucking tilted and shit, and then just the setting changed in an instant, snap of a finger, and then Saitama was on the moon, and it's just, even to this very year, we saw a crater of that same fight left on the moon, visible from all the way from the surface of the earth. Something so spectacularly drawn. It was such an amazing conflict seeing Saitama do that, and then he matched Boros' planet-destroying attack. Just popped right through it with a single serious punch, bro, and just obliterated him. It was a spectacular fight. Boros versus Saitama is definitely top 10 fights in anime history. Definitely up there. But as for this list, that opinion may be skewed. For the number 4 spot, I gotta go with Garou versus the A8. Now, I've shortened and abbreviated the heroes to call them the A8. They're all in the A class, and there are 8 heroes. They consisted of Stinger, Death Gatling, Wildhorn, Smile Man, Chain and Toad, Glasses, Shooter, and Gun Gun. Now, all these heroes, they had like pretty unique, spectacular designs, and it looked badass. So one of the tropes that Nakaba often like overcomes, or I forgot what the actual term for it is, but he doesn't utilize it. He makes a mockery of it, or he improves upon it. He obliterates upon them. It's amazing what he does. So he'll make characters look so badass, so amazingly cool looking, so super badassery with their names and shit, and then they'll get super duper bodied by some like plain looking ass character. So that dynamic, even though it may be true in certain circumstances, not for the A class. These guys are super powerful, and they usually hold up their rank for what their positions are in terms of strength. So all these guys, we've seen the majority of them before, besides, well, actually, we haven't seen half of them, but the other half that we have seen, they were pretty acceptable in their presentations. So then, this is the pinnacle of the point of Garou. Now, I classically like to use this point or this fight as the indicator as to when Garou became dragon level. There's really not much I could really say because of what literally happened after this, and I won't get into that just yet, but Garou was fucked. He was fucked over from the previous encounters, and then all of these heroes decided to surround him. And it was so perilous, even for a guy as powerful as Garou, a guy who literally went hand to hand with Metal Bat, made him look not that impressive, not that overwhelming. Amazingly badass fight till this fucking day. Metal Bat may be one of the strongest heroes because of that display, but Garou pretty much manhandled the majority of that fight until certain portions where Metal Bat had a chance to overcome certain things. So after all that, Watchdog, King, Saitama, all these different encounters, your boy was tired. The boy was in the shack relaxing, and then all of these guys came out here. And when I say this sequence of battle was amazing, it did not disappoint for a second. A lot of times different authors, they won't show you a certain amount of somebody's powers or a certain amount of their techniques because they want to focus on a certain character, and that's not how Murata writes his story. And I'm glad that Murata doesn't do that, because I think that's an inferior way of writing. A lot of times in One Piece, you'll have 3 guys attacking a main character, and those 3 guys will get bodied. You know, they'll show one little flash of one thing, or like they'll get like one little signature technique, or not even that. It'll just like be obstacles and be like scrambled upon to display the main character's fighting ability and their signature techniques. But that's not how Murata works. Murata understands that the more that the enemies have, the more impressive that the enemies are, the more impressive the main character who beats them can be. And he did an amazing job with solidifying the power of all these A-class heroes. Whether it's Stinger's Javelin, which has become more and more effective over time throughout the series from Seeking to this point. Whether it's Death Gatling's amazing capabilities throughout the entire fight, holding back, leading the team. Whether it's Glass's almost unrivaled possible potential in the terms of the viewers as of right now. At this moment, shout out to my boy Zonin. He did an amazing video about Glass's potential and its overall strength, and how he may really be somebody to look forward to later on. I got that clearly. I got that perspective clearly in this fight. It was amazing to see that. All of the guys that were working in tandem, in the teamwork that the heroes that the AA put through to actually get to this point, they were spectacular. They literally, these 8 heroes were fighting on the level of a high demon, if not a dragon. It was at this point where they were literally doing that. And sure, they were getting overwhelmed on certain occasions, but so was Garou. So was Garou. And it was only through Garou's excessive, tenacious capability, fighting instinct, prowess, his flowing water, rock smashing fist style, and he incorporates into everything and improves upon his ability to learn, to comprehend. We saw so much from Garou in this fight. It was drawn so spectacularly. Oh man, this fight was almost the epitome of a team fight in One Punch Man. It was definitely top 5 team fights we've seen so far. I was so impressed by this presentation. Garou versus the A8 definitely has to take the number 4 spot, if not higher. But there's so many other options in the list, and we're going to keep it pushing. The number 3 fight is going to be one of the most iconic ones and one of the more recent ones. Child Emperor versus Phoenix Man. Now, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Sundown Rider. Right before this fight, he mentioned, "Oh, Phoenix Man's trash. Phoenix Man's buns." It wasn't necessarily uncalled for, because in the chapter before the spectacular presentations, Phoenix Man was easily defeated, and we actually moved on with the plot pretty quickly on to rescuing Waganma. But that's, I guess, served to hype the plot and the influence that much more so, because it came down to Child Emperor defending Waganma and defending himself epically, tremendously, fighting for his life against Phoenix Man, who time after time after time again just became stronger and stronger and showed more things and more techniques. It came down to the point where it seemed like a Super Saiyan type aspect, where you beat his ass down, but then he has more power. You beat him down a little bit more, and then he gets even stronger. He has different techniques, different capabilities to produce all the time, and I was so impressed by Phoenix Man that he may be in my list of top 5 to top 10 favorite monsters, which, hint, hint, might be an upcoming video coming out, so check that out. The fight took it to the next level with the ending feats of not only Phoenix Man himself reviving the dead with his spectacular power, New King Awakening Light, that was shown to be an almost broken hatch technique, being able to revive all manner of dead creatures to their original capabilities under his control, which was badass. But then Child Emperor hit him with a Millennium Emperor Nova, an attack that ravaged all the floors above them. Child Emperor had traveled down pretty far in the Endeavor, and before that, he actually hit him with a Brave Giant Fist Strike that sent them down even further floors. I could probably even predict 100 to 150 floors below the surface level of the subway where they were at. And with a single Millennium Emperor Nova, full charge, maximum output, he blasted through the entire ceiling, eviscerated almost completely Phoenix Man besides what he could absorb, and it just kept going. It just kept going. It eviscerated the little portion of the city or the town that was right there, right above the where the monster's hideout was. It propelled all the way through the clouds, and who knows where it actually stopped. The displays of destructive capability and casualties in terms of collateral damage, not casualties, that the attack produced was drawn so spectacularly. It just added continuous levels of increasing hype to the attack and in the fight. Oh my God, I remember the chapter ended and we were all crying as to how great it was. The podcast was amazing that week. Oh man. Yo, Child Emperor versus Phoenix Man was definitely a top 5 fight in the series so far. The second best fight that we're gonna count down, and this is spoilers for season 2, even though 2 of these have already been spoilers for season 2. So sorry, anime viewers. But the number 2 fight, in my opinion, it has to be Shiryu versus Chose Bakuzan Goketsu. Now, you may notice that this is a kind of a culmination of 3 separate fights or 3 separate encounters, but because they were all in succession, they were all part of the same exact plot, and they didn't really vary between chapters. They were almost in the same, back-to-back chapters. I'm going to call it all one fight. And it's because the suspense built up the entire time, and the suspense never dropped off with any of these encounters, and it was all to serve to the build-up of what happened at the end, which I won't spoil for you, because that may be one of the best parts of season 2. But Shiryu is... Shiryu is going to bring the rain in season 2. Little quote, shout out to Nakaba with Shiryu of the Rain in One Piece, or Nakaba, I apologize, to Oda, the Shiryu of the Rain in One Piece. But the presentation that Shiryu put on against all these individuals, whether it was the Monster Cell transformation with Chozu, who put in that work aesthetically, the way that Murata decided to draw it all across, whether it was Bakuzan's exceptionally cocky, prideful presentation and just mollywhopping monopolization of the fight up against Shiryu, or whether it was Goketsu's indomitable presentation of basically invincibility. The comparisons and the different types of analysis that were done during that time period were so hype. They were so hype that to this day, one of the biggest blunders in One Punch Man, in terms of the community's opinion, is the death of Goketsu. When I say your boy looked badass, when I say the theories about Bang versus Goketsu, about Goro versus Goketsu, those theories were all running, bro. There was so many things popping off around Goketsu, around this Bakuzan fight, and what we just seen Shiryu do with Chozu, because I can't spoil it for you guys, but fuck it. Before this, Shiryu had shown an exceptionally impressive presentation up against the strongest individual in the series. And even though it did nothing, it was still badass to see everything that he could do. His potential still was not unreached. And I guess that's like part of the greatness of the fight. Whenever you do fight that individual, that your maximum power isn't revealed when you fight him. That's almost never the case because we can't compare it to him. He's just that much stronger. So we didn't actually know how strong Shiryu would actually be because he fought that person. But up against Tozu, we did see some of Shiryu's greatness and amazingly indomitable fighting capabilities. And then up against Bakuzan, it became a bit more unfortunate, but we saw the drive and determination. And then we also saw more of that character. And that's why I love One Punch Man, because Murata finds such an amazing way to drop in development, character analysis, character depictions, emotional displays inside of these conflicts so easily, so well, and so subtly that you don't need an entire backstory of somebody crying. You don't need 4 to 5 chapters explaining some like sad situation. It's just the situation is there. It's already sad. It's already emotionally impactful. It's already emotionally charged from the beginning because he knows how to set it up in writing. He does an amazing job, and that sequence of fighting up until the pinnacle where that man came, it was everything I needed from that fight. That is definitely the second best fight in One Punch Man as of yet. And we could definitely argue and speculate on that. Now, when I say this as the #1 fight, people are going to complain and they're going to say, what are you talking about? What are you thinking about? You didn't even add in the other best part. So I got to mention this, the honorable mention. Now, this honorable mention is technically the same as the #1, my #1 choice, but I chose this other one because I felt more attached to it. I really just felt more attached to it. But I have to give this honorable mention the other possibility of being the #1 fight. So the honorable mention is Garou versus Rover and Orochi. Once again, it's the same exact aspect. Because these fights were in sequence and in consequence of each other. Excuse me, it's Garou versus Rover, Giro, and Orochi. And as I was saying, the fights were all in tandem, right back to back within chapters of each other. So I'm going to put them all in the same conflict. So, as you already know, this is spoilers for Season 3, so you guys don't even got to worry about it. Anime viewers, you're not going to remember this. But Rover is crazy. When I say that this guy was confirmed dragon, and then Rover walked up to me and said, this guy is strong. He's really strong. I have to do everything I can to not fight him. He did it. Garou did that. This isn't some weird presentation where Atomic Samurai slaps the hand away from Saitama because he says, oh, you have to be strong. Or it's not like all the heroes not knowing how strong King is and them hyping him up to be the strongest hero that there is. It's not like that. This is Garou sensing that he's about to die and choosing to flee, the flight instinct instead of the fight instinct. And when I saw that that translation, it just threw the hype through the window. Not to mention his already iconic character design. I usually don't like animalistic creatures. Maybe it's because of my own personal feelings. I have a puppy myself, a little dog, so I don't I don't want to see any harm in any type of aspect. I don't want to see any fighting like that. As big as my dog may be, I don't want him fighting at all whatsoever. So I don't really want animals to be shown in that light. But this is not the same. This is not the same. Rover is nothing to be played with. Rover is a fucking demon. His aesthetic design with the 3 eyes makes him look so badass. And all the little fan art that I've seen of him in his little TV form or the cute form, it's so I can't get mad at it because he looks so cool even in that form. Rover is one of the best characters with the shortest presentation so far. And it's amazing because at this point in the manga, we haven't gotten another presentation of the character as of yet, and he will be showing up soon. Hopefully, depending on which hero he encounters or depending on the scheme that Murata has for the rest of the arc. But I'm super anticipating Rover's presentation because he was a true dragon. He was a true high dragon, a true Caedra. Garou did not stand a chance up against him. Garou even used his strongest attack, which was called Sit Down, and it did nothing. It did nothing to Rover, and then he just blasted him. The entire fight, I was speculating and I was feeling, what are you going to do, Garou? What can you do, Garou? What can you do, Garou? What's up next, Garou? Can you deal with it, Garou? And he dealt with it. Every time he dealt with it. And that's one of the reasons why it has to be one of the best fights. Because of the tenacious sequence of Garou. He honestly, truly is the best character in Season 2. Putting respect on Lord King and Saitama Sensei aside. And the breast and voluptuous beauty of Fubuki. Garou made Season 2. Garou made this arc, the Monster Invasion arc. And this is one of the pinnacles of it. Then Garou shows up to reveal the plans and his schemes. His plan for Garou and his potential. The things that have been basically foreshadowed since his original presentation and his indomitable capability, his indomitable growth. Garou just confronted with this issue was just crazy. Another one that's arguably the leader, if not the secretary of the leader, and incredibly powerful. Now, I have my own little opinion about psychic users in the series so far. They've all been shown to be lesser to some extent, besides Tatsumaki. So, I'm not so impressed by Girou's power, but I was, by that presentation, that did change my mind. And Girou is indeed a massively powerful dragon that any individual would have the strongest, toughest time dealing with him. And to see Garou deal with that after he just finished going on with Rover, it was, Garou, and then it happened. You see, there are other heroes that were coming. It's not just, quote-unquote, the monster hunter that was causing an issue for the Monster Association. The potential of the other S-classes that now has happened, invading the Monster Association hideout, was a looming threat in Girou's head. So he couldn't waste his power. He couldn't waste his energy. He couldn't afford to get it hurt up against a guy as strong as Garou. So he sent in Garou. Oh, man. And that was a turn-up. We were talking about real anticipation from the beginning of the storyline, real anticipation from the beginning of the arc, real anticipation from the beginning of everything. We were talking about Orochi, the Monster King, the guy who with a big-ass head, big-ass horns, fucking ate awakened cockroach. One of my favorite monsters as of yet in terms of aesthetic and designs and like his demeanor in his fights. Ate him in a second. Threatened Super S. She needs to be eaten as well. Like, and then he showed off his true display of power, and then we got his actual aesthetics. Orochi is a fucking monster. A fucking monster. Bro, I don't think Atomic can do it. I don't think Tatsumaki can do it. I don't think Dark Shine can do it. I don't think Pooty Pooty can do it. I don't think Flashy Flash can do it. I don't think Metal Knight can do it. I don't think Child Emperor could do it. I don't think Metal Bat could do it. I don't think Pig Guy could do it. That's 9 niggas. That's 9 niggas. I don't think they could do it. Orochi was so the definition of the word indomitable at this point in time, in comparison, that is. And do you know what Garou did? He took him on. Garou took him on, right? He went up in there hand to hand with that nigga, straight cheeks clapping, bro. And he got his cheeks clapped quite thoroughly. Quite thoroughly did he indeed get his cheeks clapped. But seeing that drawn, it changes you. It changes you. I no longer respect other series. If I can see this drawn, why would I want to read that? But that's not it. That's the honorable mention. And it's a huge honorable mention. So we'll just give it the number one spot, 0.2. But my actual choice for the number one spot, and I had to make it official because I connected with this. It was Elder Centipede, Garou, and Phoenix Man versus Genos, Bang, and Bob, and King and Shaitala. Now, all right, once again, this is another instance of adding all the different sequences together in tandem. And boy, Elder Centipede is going to be the game changer for season 2. We mentioned earlier that we have different characters like Shiryu, like Garou, King. Check out that video, top 5 characters to watch out for in One Punch Man Season 2 and in reviewers. But Elder Centipede. Are we talking about a dragon level threat? This is the definition of a dragon level threat. It checks off every single category. Able to threaten the city, capability to fight all kinds of different heroes, not just combat or not just hand-to-hand anti-personnel heroes, but like DC capable heroes, because we have to make the distinction. A lot of times when we do versus matches, guys like, for example, All Might's powerful and all, but he can't destroy a city. But he's very, very, very strong. But on the other hand, Elder Centipede, he can destroy a city. But he probably wouldn't do the best against hand-to-hand fighters, even though he's proven that he can. So it's different types of aspects and categories like that I don't want to break it down into. And we will get into that in the Monstrous Anomalies video. So check out that series. But Elder Centipede is the pinnacle of what a dragon should be. And when you say a dragon, you're thinking about Elder Centipede. That guy put in all the work. But it started off after the A8 fight. After the A8 fight, Garou was exhausted, completely demoralized. But before that fight even finished, the heroes came through. Genos. So Genos was able to help the A8 before they actually got like killed, or like something more serious happened to them. Which Garou doesn't usually do that, but he can, and he has the ability to if he wants to. So he came in, he came up with a formidable fight off the bat. Garou in his tattered, injured state couldn't really keep up with Genos that effectively. He was doing well. He was able to defend himself, but not to the point where he seemed like he could beat Genos. Now, I know that we all talk shit about Genos all the time. Genos loses every other fight. He does impressive shit just to lose. His cool aesthetics of a main character are just for show. But time and time again, all those times where he loses are amplifying his potency. To the point where Genos is almost dragon level. Genos is a monster right now. Genos is a true monster right now. Like, and he stepped in front of Garou, but that wasn't it. Then came his masters, Bang and Bomb. Now, the relationship between Bomb and Garou isn't as strong, but they are acquaintances. They do know of each other. And Bang is his little teacher. He's been looking for him this entire time. And we've actually gotten some speculation from not only the Hero Association, but other heroes themselves, and maybe even from Bang in terms of seeing him in his dialogue us as viewers, that he's hesitant. This was clearly like showed out whenever Genos was aiming at Phoenix Man. So, as you would probably assume, these types of circumstances would be super overwhelming for any individual. But after Garou had went through all of that fighting against the A8, heavily injured, and even the pinnacle feat of deflecting, I can't say the pinnacle feat of that fight. It's a spoiler for season 2. But he had a pinnacle feat at the end of the fight with the A8 guys. And it was pretty taxing, but he got it done. So Phoenix Man had to come in. And with the escape, try and protect Garou and save him for later on, Genos was going to shoot them down with one of his cannons. And it looked like he was actually going to hit him, but lo and behold, Phoenix Man called the assistance of EC. EC saved the day, protected them. So, and then when we saw that, we saw the relief on Bang's eyes. To a certain extent, it was more of like concern when Genos was aiming at them. So it may be the factor that since the beginning of the storyline, he's been saying that he himself wants to take down Garou before anybody else does. And that's probably because he has a merciful presentation for him. But it doesn't mean that he won't kick his ass badly. And it also doesn't mean that he doesn't care about his disciples. So to this day, we're still speculating on the relationship between Bang and Garou. How hesitant Bang is going to be to kill or deal with Garou if it comes down to that point at all, if it actually does. And what is that really going to mean for their relationship later on? And for Bang later on. Is he going to retire from the Heroes after he does this? He's already discontinued his dojo activity. So this is what I was talking about before as to how the fights are emotionally charged without requiring or needing anything else. There's nothing else that we need to. Little subtle hints give us all the information that we know. Little subtle hints build up that emotional stimulus that we could even cry from just by observing and looking at the situation. So I have to say that this is probably my favorite fight. Not to mention Genos up against EC. When I say, nigga, yo, he said fuck it, and he took on EC head on by himself. Bang and Bomb couldn't do anything. No doubt, no granted, Bang and Bomb used an indomitable combo attack to do catastrophic damage, but that's when we saw the indomitability of EC himself. He's incredibly powerful, incredibly potent, incredibly capable, but it wasn't enough. Genos put in the fucking work, looked badass, put everything he had out there, and Genos' aesthetics are so amazing when he fights. Murata does an amazing job making Genos look like the coolest motherfucker in the series, and I kind of support it. I really kind of support it. And he put in that work up against him, but it wasn't enough, and that's when the hero had to come through. Oh boy, King. King came through and he dumped that thing to them niggas. He did that thing to them niggas. It was everything I needed. It was everything I wanted. EC, Garou, and Phoenix Man versus Genos, Bang, Bomb, King, and Saitama. It's my favorite fight in the series. Not to mention, for you anime watchers, I know that you guys probably may read other manga if you do just watch the anime for One Punch Man, and if you're on this channel. There's no other manga that gives you 155 pages of the best artwork you will see for a fight. That hasn't happened. One Piece has never and will never do that. My Hero has never and will never do that. Death Note has never and will never do that. Bleach never did that. Naruto Shippuden, or excuse me, Naruto never did that. Attack on Titan has never and will never do that. All these great stories that are so cool and badass to read, and that they're respective in their own points, very, very, very good stories. They won't give you this aspect. They won't give you the art that you deserve, with the page lengths that you deserve, with the emotional attachment that you deserve, with the hype that you deserve. You will only get that from One Punch Man. Alright guys, so let's end the video off with a quick announcement for the Monstrous Anomaly series. So the two Monstrous Anomalies we'll be covering next are MA02 Garou and MA03 the Demon King. Now, please also stay tuned for an overview of the Monstrous Anomaly series. It's going to be a short little video detailing to you what the Monstrous Anomaly series actually is before you get those actual two videos. And then we'll be dropping the double header. Like the video, guys. Stay tuned for the One Punch Man podcast that should be coming up this weekend. That should be around 16th, 17th, 18th of this month of March. So check that out for a few days. We're not going to get a chapter for, I believe, until the 22nd is what I heard. So we're going to try to fill that void and that gap that we all need for One Punch. Like the video, guys. We'll see you boys next time. Subscribe. We're almost at 1,000, guys. We're almost at 1,000. Go ahead, like that vid, subscribe so we can get to that road and we can finally reach that milestone. We got to get monetized. We got to start producing from the videos that we do so I can start to focus more on this aspect. All right, guys. See you later. Yo-ho!